Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivemy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are talking about Aliens Earth? Is it Alien? I actually forgot. Alien Earth. I was like, I couldn't remember if it was pluralized or not.
This bit was not what I thought it was.
No.
I was like, oh, where's he going to go with this?
I couldn't remember if it was a plural.
No, Alien. No.
Alien Earth. We're talking about Alien Earth, but we're talking about the full season episodes. So that's plural.
The whole episodes.
Episodes.
Yes. Okay.
Those are your Aliens Earth.
Alien episodes with aliens. Earths. You're right.
Thank you.
Noah Hawley. Why isn't this show called Aliens Earth?
Aliens Earth. It's like attorneys general. Like you got to pluralize the first one.
Oh man, no one's ever breaking out attorneys general.
I got all kinds of magic.
The general for the attorneys.
Yep, I'm in there with them.
Okay.
So we're talking about that this week on the podcast. We're going to be talking about all of season 1. New show. It just finished up its first season. So we're going to give you a spoiler-free review in case you're not caught up or on the fence about watching it. Not sure if it's worth your time. Whatever your reason might be, we'll give you a spoiler-free review. Then, once you hear the theme music, that is when we will be entering the spoiler-filled section. Let's start with the spoiler-free review. The usual, the simple question. Diana, did you like it?
I did like it. It's not a love. It's wildly good. It's incredibly well made. It has really interesting ideas. The action's good. The acting is incredible almost across the board. It is like a prestige show. And I feel almost nothing when I watch it. But it's still a like. It's not a like I feel bad things or like I don't like what I'm watching. It's definitely a like. But I'm in awe of the show at times. And I'm still like, man, I don't really feel anything when I watch it, which makes me really sad. Because I'm like, you could be a banger. Very similar to how I think I felt about shows like House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Just like, oh, what an immaculately made show with everyone across the board doing incredible work with new ideas that I haven't seen. I'm like, and it just doesn't do anything for me. And I wish it did. I really wish it did. There is definitely like cool stuff here. There's cool stuff. There is... the villain is amazing. We're going to talk about him. The main villain. Episode 5 is super incredible. It's kind of a standalone thing that absolutely rules. The creepy crawlies and some of the horror is really, really great. Overall, for 8 episodes, it probably shouldn't be called Alien Earth. The alien's hardly in this. It's probably going to be my biggest overall complaint. This is a really cool idea for a show that's not about an alien. And it kind of, the whole time, it's very, like, for me, it's itchy and scratchy. When are we going to get to the fireworks factory? I'm like, the alien any minute now. And there's some alien, don't get me wrong. There's alien in it. But it's not about the alien. So it's a like, and I want it to be a love, but it's immaculate. So it's really weird. I feel weird about it. I feel weird about Alien Earth. Andrew, did you like Alien Earth? I
think I liked it a good bit more than you. It's not quite up there as a love for me. I think it's great, but it's not quite a love. I agree with you that it is technically perfect and perfectly accomplished. This is exactly what everyone set out to do when they set out to make this. It's visually beautiful. It has great performances, and there are some things here that like we'll talk about some of the themes and the intent of stuff as we go on. But I still think it is what they wanted to do, and they did it correctly. So it's a technical accomplishment, and for anyone who likes the Alien franchise, there is so much beauty and respect to that in here, in particular episode 5 and some of the other stuff that they have going on. You know, it's not that every minute, but even then I think that, you know, yes, it may be a little bit light on the alien, but it is heavy on the theme of the Alien franchise, which is that corporations do not love you and want to own you, and they would rather you be dead than free, is what corporations would prefer. So I think that it is true to the theme of the Alien franchise, and then just deals with the difficulty that it's hard to have a series of television about a creature, whereas the movies, you can strike that thematic balance while having a lot of creature at least talk if it's not physically on camera, and it's harder to do that over a series of television. So they have a couple tough roads. So I really respect it. It's technically well accomplished. There's some incredible stuff in here. The alien stuff is wonderful. I think there's one big concession that we will talk about in the spoiler-filled section that I'm like, this is a big thing that the show hangs its hat on, and it invokes no emotion from me. And this might be an us thing, maybe, but it invokes no emotion, no academic interest, no emotional interest, no intellectual interest, where I'm just like, this is nothing. And you've hung such a lantern on it. So one of their biggest plot points is something where I'm like, I just could not care less. And then there's some stuff about the show that I'm uncertain on, but I'm very excited to talk about, which I also think that like is a sign of a good piece of media, that it's like even the things that like I'm a little bit iffy about, I'm like, I want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to our friends about it. I want to talk to our listeners about it. It's just very exciting to be like, but how do we feel it? Was it good or bad? And I do look forward to having that conversation about some of its potential misgivings. So that's where I'm at. There's some stuff where I'm unsure about, but I'm very excited to talk about it. And I think that that's good art. It's technically well accomplished, and then it has one big story beat that invokes less than nothing from me.
I can get on board with all of this because I know the story beat you mean, and it's most of the show. And if that was the show, and if that was a separate show, I'd be like, what an interesting show, and you know that going in, and that's the show. This feels to me, this is a personal story about me. The movie Tick, Tick, Boom came out a few years ago. It's about, oh God, I can't remember his name.
Is it Sondheim? Who is it?
No, the guy who wrote Rent. Sondheim's in it. But,
okay.
I apologize that I can't remember his name. But I thought the movie was about when he wrote Rent. And the movie's actually about the play he wrote before Rent.
Okay.
And the movie's great, but I didn't enjoy it because I kept looking at my watch. And I went, when's he going to write Rent? So I didn't appreciate what was going on. And I feel like this is happening on this show for me of like, I get what you're saying. It's absolutely the themes of Alien that are everything not about the alien. The themes are here about corporations and setting people aside and just making people cannon fodder for profits. It's all here. If that's the thing you like about Alien, they've got that. If you like clicky buttons technology, they got it. They got the aesthetics down. There definitely is so much to discuss. So I agree on all those points. And then I'm also just like, but I didn't focus on those things a lot because I'm like, it's called Alien Earth. But no, I'm pretty much agree with everything you said though.
Okay, yeah, but I liked it a lot more than you.
You liked it a lot more.
There are moments where like the vibes just get me. It is largely vibe based. It doesn't have it doesn't have Ripley. I think is the thing that you love about Alien that this is lacking.
Because I like Romulus a lot.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
I like other
as well.
aliens.
Yeah.
There's not that many aliens to choose from.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So it is a little bit different in that regard, but I think like the ships, the aliens itself, like the aesthetic vibe, I'm like, ooh, if you like the Alien franchise for its direction, this is very a director-driven, vision-driven kind of a television show.
I would believe episode 5 was directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
I would absolutely believe it.
In his prime.
Yeah, in his prime.
In his prime. Yeah.
Not
Prometheus, Ridley Scott.
No. Sorry, Ridley Scott.
Sorry.
About your other stuff you made.
You know what you did with Prometheus.
Well, you know what you did with Alien.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah. So we stand you in many regards. And you're a hard man to pin down, as we've discussed before, which I really like. But, okay, and can it be spoiled?
You'd have to work for it, but yeah. I guess.
I think it can. I think that there are a few things here where, like, while not big twists, are things that make me kind of, as it evolves and progresses, really kind of think about the themes of the show, and I enjoyed not knowing them. So there are some things in here that I would actually like to keep quiet if you intend on watching it.
I mean, I guess there definitely is because we walked around some stuff in the spoiler-free review.
Absolutely.
So, There's definitely some stuff you could spoil.
Yeah. So we are a mid-like to high-like, not quite up to a love. And before we get into the spoiler-filled section, I will remind you as well, if you are in the Halifax area, we are going to be at HalCon from November 6th to 9th. We will be at HalCon. Diana will have a table. Pop by, say hi, get a copy of her book. We should also be doing a panel, but wait for more information on that. That will be announced later. And as well, if you want a few ha-has, I will be headlining a comedy show in the evening on November. Just calling them ha-has got Diana.
I think it should be called A Few Ha-Has.
A few ha-has. On the evening of Friday, November 7th, I will be doing a show in Halifax at Good Robot. You can get your tickets at andrewiveme.com or Eventbrite, and there's a ticket link in the episode information. And if you do manage to listen to this before the end of September, you can still get early bird tickets using the promo code SEPT20 to get 20% off your tickets. So please come on out and we'll see y'all in Halifax. And now let's get into the spoiler-filled section of the episode. Let's talk about Alien Earth. All right, we have seen Alien Earth. We are now in the spoiler-filled section. Should we just dive into, like, the big thing? It's a negative, it's a positive. Should we just get it out of the way?
Can we do one positive first?
Sure.
Because I liked it last, I would like to start high before I start being mean.
In that case,
if that's all right.
In that case, let's start with probably the highlight, which is episode 5.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think that's a good place to start, unless you had other ideas.
I was going to go actor highlight, but episode 5 is also, honestly, also actor highlight, because actor highlight for me is Babu Sisi as Morrow.
Babu as Morrow is doing a phenomenal job.
And he does a lot in episode 5. So you know what? This goes together great.
They go together nicely,
This goes together wonderfully.
Yeah, I mean, he kicks it off in episode 1, but episode 1 does this kind of time jump that, for those of you, if you're in the spoiler filled section and don't care and haven't seen it, episode 1 kind of starts with a juxtaposition combination of a very truncated flash story of things going wrong on a spaceship that has an alien on it, and now it's going to crash into Earth, while cutting back to Earth. Episode 5 gives us the full backstory of that ship, and it is essentially a self-contained alien movie, the star of which is Babu Sisi as Morrow. Mm-hmm. And it's just phenomenal.
He's such a badass. It's like that competence that you love in a character, but also like he's so unyielding in a way that you're like, yeah, he's doing his job. And if you listen to him, you'd all be alive. But he's not a dick about it, but he is a dick about it. And he's so powerful and he's so cool. I love this guy. I think he's awesome. Every time he was on screen, I'm like, you're dangerous, but I also feel a little safe and aroused, maybe. I don't even know.
He's complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you're dangerous, but you're also like doing your job, he's not unpredictably dangerous.
Yes, yeah. He's competent and dangerous. He wants to help you, but if you don't help yourself, he's going to let you die.
Yes,
like it is this weird kind of thing where like it's not as pure evil as a synth who's following orders from the company to kill you all or experiment on you with the alien egg or whatever. He's like, no, I'm a human man with robot parts, but I do also, I know that I've committed my life to this, so I am doing that. And if you can't fucking listen and do anything right, then I'm leaving you all to die. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I kind of respect it.
There is something respect to it.
There's a kind of respect to that.
It's got a strong, just anti-hero, Eddie Brock Venom kind of an energy to it where it's like, God damn it, you chaos machine, but I respect you.
But he's not chaotic. He wants order in a way that but isn't like a dictator about it. He's complicated and cool.
Yeah, the Punisher.
The Punisher, but he's also he's a head of security, so he's right to just let them die in a way if they're not going to listen to what he says.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Competent, confident, neutral, really interesting. In that episode in particular, like seeing the backstory, obviously that's good because it's essentially an alien movie where we get the most traditional dark lit horror of the entire franchise. You know, it's you get the alien that you think of when you think of Alien.
Yeah, you get the alien, but also you get all the fun creatures as well. Like the eyeball guy is what breaks out. He goes into the girl. There's like so many. The creatures are also part of it. The one guy who like throws up the worms,
the parasitic worms that get in your water
and eat your blood, and then you've lost too much blood.
Yeah.
So they're all the new creatures are really creepy. That's a different conversation. But episode 5 just feels like Alien. They've made this ship that looks very much like the Nostromo, but not quite exactly. You're not like it's exactly it, but it's definitely the same era. It's the same tech. It's filmed the same. It's all the same kind of like exact same underwear you wear in cryo, just the detailing and also just like the vibes and the way everyone talks over each other, and no one's mic'd quite properly in a way that's purposeful of just like you feel like you're in the room.
It does feel like it was filmed in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I agree with that.
80s style of filming.
Yeah, and they one-to-one recreate a lot of what those original sets were. Like they have the like the mother, the computer room where they talk to the AI sentience as well in order to get their orders and things like that. So they really one-to-one recreate everything. The vibes are right, the lighting is right, the performance is immaculate. Babu is incredible. It's a great episode.
It's a great, and it's kind of like this standalone. Like it could be episode 1, but it was smart that it wasn't because that would make you think the whole show is going to be on the ship.
Yes.
So I understand why it wasn't episode 1, but it was cool. There's just this like self-contained flashback.
I do even wonder if there was any like network or pushback to Noah Hawley, the creative behind the series, to insert that into episode 1, because it does seem like episode 1 could open just on the crash, and these little flashes from what will be episode 5 later does feel very much like a hand of a network. And I could also see it as being just a sincere creative decision of being like, you've got to get the titular alien in sooner. Like that, like you've got to show us a ship in the style that everyone's used to and make everyone comfortable and remind everyone that like, you know what you're doing. It's just that comforter to be like, if you love Alien, those opening shots of that ship and the interiors and these one-to-one set recreations of what the film was, it lets you know to be like, oh, this was lovingly crafted. No matter where anything goes, very similar to, you know, what has happened with the Predator franchise over recent history as well, with Prey and things like that, where it's like, we're doing our own thing, but we need you to know that we have reverence and love for what this is. We're not trying to completely shit on where it went. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to do our own thing with still love and respect for what this is.
And it really finds the line that I will actually say Romulus really missed, because their like love and respect for the previous one was to like make an AI Ian Holm.
Yeah.
And we were all like, that was the worst part of the movie.
Resurrect an actor from the dead against everyone's wishes.
And to kill him again as a robot who just dies. So this one being like, no, we love the Alien franchise and we love the vibes.
Yeah.
We're not just like, here's a thing that you remember for nostalgia of like one character or something. It gets it. It does everything right in that regard.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also I think like one thing that this show kind of pushes this franchise in the direction of, which I think is quite clever, because it's always conceptually been there. I just never really thought about it before. The idea that you can have, you know, the space be in the 80s, almost a la Guardians of the Galaxy, but without any fun. Space exists in the 80s.
Bad 80s.
Bad 80s in this scenario, but 80s nonetheless. Just in the sense that they've all been in cryo for so long, so you can have modern Earth and dated space. And in the event that they try to expand this canon, I think that what they're doing with movies like Romulus are kind of standalone things. I don't think there's any confirmation of a continued canon there. But if they want to expand this canon and do other stuff in space, they can still go back to that 80s aesthetic, and they can have newer things on Earth that don't undo what things used to be. There's something very smart about how they use that kind of cryo sleep and hanging a lantern on a few things about them being outdated and past their time, and a generation foregone by the time that they get back to Earth. So I think that that's also something very clever that they do with the 80s-ization of the world and the modernization of Earth.
Yeah, it is a great way to have two different pieces of cake that are both really delicious. It's like, yeah, with the ship and the bad guy, all 80s aesthetic, all 80s technology from the original, but now it's been 65 years. They've been in cryo, so we can do... But even Earth isn't, like, all that high tech, but it also is. Like, we're putting humans in synths, but also, like, the screens are very domed, and Kid Cavalier, like, either has an affinity for old technology or just, like, makes his new technology look kind of old because he's still using really busted keyboards, big monitors.
Yeah.
But he also has this crazy technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nice that you can kind of just do whatever you want.
Well, they have this
free reign.
This uncanny aesthetic that they go for, like the bringing up the keyboards. It's all just kind of like older. What's the term? Like the real clicky keyboards. Mechanical keyboards. It's older mechanical keyboards, but the fact that it does not use any phonetic alphabet, which is what they did in the movies to kind of make this seem. Not in the sense of a foreign organism, but alien in the sense of unfamiliar. And I like that they've kept that up on Earth, despite the fact that everything that we need to see as an audience is in English. Like at one point when Kid Cavalier's using the computer, or I think someone else was, and it was a simple prompt that was like, do you want to open the cage, Y or N? And what the button they pressed was an ellipses with a smiley face and an asterisk in it, and it's just like none of the keys are human letters. It's still typed Y because that's what they needed it to do in that scenario. But
smiley face is yes, babe.
Of course.
The smiley face emoji is a yes.
An asterisk and a comma in there and whatever. So
I just don't speak future.
I don't speak future. Is the problem.
It's very, very cool that they stuck with the aesthetics. I think that scene was when Oliver was helping Joe escape.
I think so. Yeah.
Can you get to the boats? Yes, no, or something. But anyway, it's cool. It was cool because I know if I was a prop master, I'd be like, what do you mean there's no letters on the keyboards? They're gonna type things.
Yeah.
It's a tech-based show.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you type words?
What? Yeah.
How do you type words?
It very much reminds me of like the way that they execute it in this, even more so than the general Alien canon, of the technology that they used in It Follows, if you remember that. And I thought that this was going to be a trend for a while of movies using kind of uncanny, unreal technology and not drawing attention to it. In that one, it was like all of the kids it was set in like present-ish day, and all of the kids had cell phones, but the cell phones were clamshell flip phones that were shaped like a clamshell, and they would have like a holo projector e-reader, but they didn't have internet, but it was never drawn attention to. It was just like, hey, how do we get around the horror thing of not everyone has access to all information in Google all the time? And it'd be like, what if we made cell phones look like a cell phone that's never existed, but they still have it, so you kind of accept this as a form of reality, but it makes you push some questions aside. And everyone was talking about it. It was such a hot thing when that movie came out. Everyone was like, this is how you do cell phones in anything that you're willing to go to a fantastical element. You know, it's not what you do in a biopic or whatever, but it's what you do in a horror movie or sci-fi. And I thought it was going to be a trend, and just no one else picked up that torch, and movies just continued to try to not acknowledge cell phones as much as possible.
I mean, I think a big problem is that most movies get paid by cell phone providers to put their phones in.
Ooh, that is a fucking problem.
So that does make a big problem. I think this movie, I'm actually really surprised this show didn't have a single recognizable piece of technology that you could buy that I saw. Not a car, not a computer, not a cell phone.
Yeah, no Fantasticar with a Hemi in it.
No Hemi.
No Hemi anywhere.
You could have gotten to the crash so much sooner if your Fantasticar had a Hemi.
If they took that Dodge money.
But they didn't take the Dodge money. So there's no promotional of anything in this show.
That's a really good point.
Whereas, like, as we said, in most movies, like, there's like a trick where you can tell who the villain is because the villain's not allowed to have an iPhone.
So whoever has an Android phone is the villain.
Is the bad guy.
Yeah, or is about to betray, the hero if you see one hero with an Android phone.
Or if no one has iPhones and Android paid for the movie.
Exactly.
Those are the options.
It was made by Samsung or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, great fake tech.
Great fake tech. And we glanced upon it with that episode 5 thing too, but the imagination of the new creatures fucking rule. The new creatures rule because it's a ship that comes back. It's got your classic xenomorph on it. And then it has version of space leeches, a version of the hangy from the ceiling grab you thing from the Half-Life video game for the gamers who listen.
Oh, that's what that is.
In my opinion, that's kind of the iconic version of that. I forget the name of that creature from the Half-Life games, but it's got a little dangly thing from the ceiling. It touches you, it pulls you up, eats you.
Okay. Yeah, there's a fly, there's a space fly.
Yes.
And then there's the eye.
And the eye.
The eye.
The eye.
Oh,
that's my true
baby,
hero.
the
I love the eye.
The eye's cool.
The eye that rips out other. It's some parasitic eye. So it's almost similar to like a face hugger, I guess, but it has sentience. It rips out the eye of other creatures and then takes over their body as like a zombie-like type of a creature.
Yeah, so more of like a traditional parasite. It's not trying to procreate. It'll go into a dead body. It goes into Arthur at the end. Mm-hmm. So it really is just trying to like be more body. I would like to be more body, please.
Yeah, a little like Last of Us virusy type of like I'm just trying to animate a corpse as a means of transportation.
Mm-hmm. And apparently very intelligent. Like he can't talk because he was in a sheep the whole time, the eye. But
and clearly knows and hates the xenomorph. This bit of lore I fucking love. Like the fact that it sees a xenomorph and is like, I need to kill this shit right now, and goes at it. I'm like, oh my God, this thing knows. That's so cool. That's a beautiful bit of lore.
It makes so much sense that if you found a planet that had xenomorphs, that there would be other weird shit on it. Mm-hmm. Like, so of course, it makes total sense that they found other stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me that this crew survived catching all these things when they die so quick. Although none of them are super dumb. They're only a little bit dumb. They're maybe too emotional, is more of their fatal flaw than anything. So I'm not going to be mean to the crew too much. And also these aliens all just seem like way too smart for their own good. Like the leeches like open up their little cage.
Yeah.
Because they see where the latch is.
Yeah.
And they escape and get into her water. Absolutely crazy. But they're all like really cool new additions to the lore because, as you said, you can't just do 8 episodes about just the xenomorph. That's very difficult. The xenomorph doesn't speak. They don't have any real personality. They're just super cool and they kill you. So the idea of like this like horror show gauntlet that you go through when you get to the ship of like, oh, it's not even just an alien.
Yeah.
It is Aliens Earth. There should be an S.
Yeah, there are multiple aliens. They're not all xenomorphs, but there are multiple aliens.
Multiple aliens, yeah, and they all rule. And yeah, that sheep goat, I wish it was a goat because I don't like calling him a sheep. He's the goat.
I see what you're doing. Yeah, he's the goat, the eye that can split up into other eyes and is watching and listening, and I can't wait to see where that goes. I'm very excited.
I'm actually like really upset it didn't get to speak by the end of season 1, but I get what you're doing. I get what you're doing with the eye.
You're building up to some stuff.
Cool for the guy whose body it went into that he can be in season 2.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, like the eye, like that lore, like the creatures. I mean, the leeches opening the thing, though, I like that that's like based off of what octopuses in captivity do. Like, it's a level of intelligence where it's just like, yeah, man, not everything's a fish. Like, there's a lot of hyper-intelligent creatures out, and it would make sense that whatever other creatures were on a xenomorph planet would evolve to be highly intelligent survived organisms. Even if you consider the xenomorph to be like the apex predator, it still needs something to prey on, which still relies on a planet to have a full and rich biome that evolves to survive to a certain percentage against xenomorphs, like you still need that.
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense that everything they collect is so small and probably too small for a xenomorph to even kind of
make
impregnate,
a meal out of,
make a meal out of, or to like inseminate, put an egg in.
Yeah.
The leeches obviously are too small. The eye thing isn't going to be able to do anything. But the fact that the eye thing is also like that xenomorph will fuck you up if I am in a big body.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I do put myself in a big human body, the xenomorph will just kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then like flying creatures as well, where it's like we have the ability to escape and get away.
Yeah, the fact that there's like built-in beef. between these different aliens.
Yeah.
That is just really subtle. It's not what the whole show's about, which I actually wouldn't mind if it was. If it was like, we're caught in the middle of alien beef.
Yeah. And then fauna as well, which doesn't have the intelligence to give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like a plant that will scoop you up and bite into you doesn't care if your body has acid and burns it because it will just repair itself or have a new seed next season. Like it doesn't really matter.
Just spit you out.
It'll just spit you out maybe. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff with the other
aliens
creatures.
are cool. All the creatures are cool. Episode 5 rules. Babu is Moro. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the alien vibes are just right. Now, should we get into it?
Let's get in. We've been real nice.
Yeah, get into the main negative of it all, which is just the kids angle. For those of you who didn't watch it, the main corporate kind of thing, aside from the aliens going on here, is that Earth is a bunch of corporations. Some of them make cyborgs, which is what Moro's character is, which is just a normal human person, but you gave him a robot arm, Jax from Mortal Kombat type of a thing.
Bucky.
Bucky. Some people are synths, which are full AI creatures, which are, created from scratch and can be programmed. Your Visions and Ultrons. These are your fully robotic created beings.
Your Bishop from Aliens. Just a robot.
A classic robot. What this new corporation is trying to create is your hybrids, which is uploading a human consciousness into a fully synth body. So it's kind of both worlds, or that's the idea, is that it's the best of both worlds, or potentially also just the most controllable aspects of both worlds, and the most sellable aspects of both worlds is what this company is going for. And they can only do it with kids, which just, who gives a shit?
Later, it brings up interesting moral quandaries. I think my favorite line in this whole series is when I think Arthur, the scientist dude who's actually nice, is like, best case scenario, this works and they get sold. Worst case scenario, we killed 6 kids.
Yeah.
And it's this really powerful line where it's like, you know that the kids have died, but they were already dying. So at no point in my head did I say, you killed these kids. But when he just said it like that, I was like, oh, you did kill those kids. They were still alive when they went on that table.
And the second half of the season kind of realizes that's what's interesting about this, where it's just like, well, what's interesting is, and it's the idea of like, it's Star Trek teleporter problem, where it's like, well, what happens if you fully deconstruct and kill a being and then reconstruct it somewhere else? Is that the same thing? Is it a clone? In Star Trek, it's like, if the teleporter makes 2 of you and one of you gets stuck in a time, which one's the prime?
Do you have rights if you have a human consciousness in a robot body? Are you property or are you a person? There's very interesting questions that they ask later.
Are you a Blade Runner replicant style robot that thinks you are a person, when in reality you actually have no, soul per se, or whatever they might define a human being as? It's very interesting. And the fact that they can only do it with kids becomes irrelevant once they realize that that's what's interesting, once they're at their graves and they're like, but we're not dead, but we are dead. But if we're dead, what does that mean about who we are right now at our own graves? Mm-hmm. And that question is way more interesting than the Peter Pan, I'm reading to kids a kid's story and you're kind of kids. I find it dumb.
I find it really, it's so dumb off the top because you've made kids and okay, who wants to hang out with children anyway? But like Kid Cavalier's whole thing later, he's like, kids have imagination and I wanted to build robots that would have endless imagination so you could be smart and talk to me. And I'm like, so you started with kids? No, Find a smart adult. Kill them. Way more consent involved if you're over 18.
Yep.
And it's not interesting at all. But then later in the season, what I do find very interesting about the show is, like you said, all these moral questions come up. And when the kids start to question, like, if they're real or if they're ghosts or if they're human, and then they start to evil up a bit, they go evil and get jaded so quickly. And I'm like, if this had been introduced like 3 episodes ago and it happened a bit more slower with more buildup, I think this would have been really cool. But there's so many episodes where it's like, we're going to send kids to a crash site?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? They've never done anything? And this is the first thing you're going to get them to do?
It doesn't make a ton of sense.
They don't know what anything is in the world, let alone what anything in a crash site is.
And it's a series of things. It's
They work in the lab? Do you
Yeah.
only have one robot, Kid Cavalier? Why are there so few robots? I have so many questions. Mm-hmm. These are so many of my negatives.
This falls into the realm of we wouldn't nitpick at it if it wasn't already stupid and boring. Mm-hmm. But the logical. The illogical decision of it all. Like as a company, it's like I understand why one of the major companies, whether it's Weyland-Yutani or the other four who I don't remember and who gives a fuck, but if one of the major companies are like, we make cyborg parts. If you want a stronger arm, you can have a stronger arm. And we'll take a bunch of money from you to do it. And we'll maybe send out updates to the arm, or also like maybe you work our minds and you hurt your back working for us, and we're going to sell you a new back. And that's profitable for us because now you worked for us and you're indebted to us, and now you can work for us better than you worked before while paying off the debt that you earned while working for us. I'm like, that's evil. That makes perfect sense. The synth thing, where it's just like, hey, we're an evil corporation. We want to remove all morality. We want something super strong that never questions what the corporate directive is. That's a synth fully. Then the kid genius is like, what if child? And it makes no sense for any of the like, but I want to make money. And it's like, okay, but you can only sell it to kids. So you need to have wealthy families. And then the whole idea is if we make a person a synth, they'll be a consumer for life. But it's only indentured weird kids who aren't power consumers, so you can't keep selling stuff to them, and they're not good enough to work or enter the workforce, so they won't have income or money. It's the worst possible decision of all things, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, especially because kids are the people who least care about immortality.
Yeah.
Like, if you're 8, you're not like, I'm really worried about dying. Unless you're actually dying.
Unless you're actually dying, like they are, yeah.
So yeah, I will say, but like, they're doing acting wise incredible stuff.
Sure.
But it's a choice that I'm not interested in. When the show first started, I thought it was a way that they came up with an interesting way to let the xenomorph kill children, which they don't usually let it do. Like, if we put the kids in adults' bodies, we can have the xenomorph kill kids. And I'm like, Noah Hawley, why is that a thing you want to do?
A solution to a problem no one had.
No one had, but then the xenomorph doesn't kill any of them. So that's not what he was going for.
Yeah.
It also is crazy, just like, these are my logic things that I hate about the show. It's crazy that, like, in these first couple episodes, not only that he sends them at all, that he sends all 6 of them. They're each worth $1 trillion. He sends every model he has to the crash sites where rubble is falling. Nothing is secured yet. They're one of the first people on site.
Yes.
And he sends all 6.
As one of them says, we could still be crushed.
Yeah, definitely. They could,
And
even if there's no aliens.
Yeah, a thing can just fall on them in a building that's falling.
Yeah, elevators are the crashing. Things are on fire, and they could all be crushed. And then every other later episode, they're like, make sure you protect the children. They're worth so much money. Don't let the kids go. We have to keep an eye on them. Like, you sent all 6 of them into a crash site with just one robot to look after them.
Pretty, and synths would do a better job at this.
I don't know why all search and rescue is in all synths.
Yeah. Yep.
Because even though Prodigy isn't the synth people, they clearly have synths. Kid Cavalier has 2 of them.
Well, I even get not using synths because it'd be like, synths are way rarer and more expensive, and humans are actually pretty cheap for us to kill and just wash away. But these hybrids are neither. The hybrids are neither expendable and cheap nothings like humans, nor are they reliable like synths.
No,
they're neither.
They're scared and untrained, and they don't know what they're doing. So even though I actually really like being trapped on the ship and it, like, everything's breaking and there's an alien, there's other aliens, that's actually, like, really cool. And but when it's the military doing it, it's really cool. And then when the kids show up, I'm like, why are there kids here?
Yeah.
Why isn't Joe and his military friends just here fighting the xenomorph?
And when they are, it's really awesome. When
really
the xenomorph
awesome.
kills the rich person party, when they're like
I forgot
chasing
about
around.
the rich person party. That rules.
That all, yeah, the Baroque themed party that they had was just awesome. Yeah, the xenomorph in a hotel / luxury apartment building was awesome. So that shit ruled, and the kid stuff doesn't work. And I think the last thing I want to say on the kid stuff is that, aside from us kind of like nitpicking at the logic of it, like how is that profitable? Step 1, kids and robots. Step 2, blank. Step 3, profits.
How is this possibly profitable for Frito-Lay?
For Frito-Lay, how?
For Prodigy Corporation.
For the Prodigy Corporation. That's great. We got to make
6 cents for the price of one.
we got to make that meme. Well, aside from that, I just emotionally and spiritually find it so disinteresting. Because even on the more high-minded intellectual side of, we have this boy genius who's like reading them Peter Pan and shows them Peter Pan when he transitions them. That episode 1 scene of all of them transitioning fucking ruled. That was so
Really
beautifully
beautiful.
artistically done, visually awesome.
Flower on their grave every time, adding one kid every rotation. Beautiful.
But the Peter Pan of it all, this kind of like, well, what does it mean if you were a kid forever? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. That's kind of interesting when you're a kid hearing about Peter Pan, and you're like, as a kid, you're like, I don't want to grow up or have grown-up problems. But it's not interesting to grown-ups in the R-rated TV show. You know, like I just spiritually and emotionally don't give a shit about the theme of like, what if we were kids forever? I'm like, yeah, and what if paint never dried? What the fuck are we talking about? That's a transitionary step, and who gives a shit about it? You know, like the important thing about like childhood stories are like, what did it mean to you? What did you evolve into? What do the parents feel as they watch you grow? Did they miss out on a portion of your life? Babu's story of like leaving his kids to give them a better life, only to find out that they died and they didn't even get the chance for that. That is the story of the meaning of youth. It is what it transitions into, or what it means to the people around them. But this is just like, it unlocks nothing. It unlocks nothing in me.
It absolutely unlocks nothing. And this is kind of the basis of what I said about how this isn't an alien show. It's so much about these kids. And that's not the heart of Alien in any way. As you said, this is like an R-rated show, and it's weird that this show gets the vibes of Alien so good, like the ship stuff, the corporation stuff, the alien hunting you down at times. The other aliens are so cool, like the xenomorph, in the same vein. And then just the heart of this show is 6 kids who are like innocent, but they're not being jaded by the alien or the world. They're kind of just like, stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Stuff's going on. They eventually get jaded by like the last episode, but...
And at that point, like, it feels like the show doesn't really care about like I said, the kid thing starts out annoying and disinteresting and then becomes largely irrelevant for a point. And I almost feel like it could end with a point that's interesting, which is the idea that like, if you make superpowered, unpunishable children, you've actually created a horrifying creature. It's something that I would say is comparable to like Q in Star Trek, or some of the more horrifying reimaginings of what Superman would be.
I was thinking more like Homelander, which is a horrifying reimagining of Superman. So yes.
But yeah, you get a Homelander type figure when you've created a super child who cannot be punished or disciplined in any way. And that is something that is maybe interesting about like, well, if you can no longer be disciplined and no one can tell you everything because you're smarter than everyone, stronger than everyone, faster than everyone, and think, operate, and do everything at a quicker speed than anyone could even potentially comprehend, you are insufferable. You're a demon. You are full on a devil. Like
as soon as you realize all those things about yourself,
we're fucked. But for a large portion, they kind of forget that, like, it doesn't even seem like that's where they end, but it doesn't feel like that's where they're going with the kid stuff.
It doesn't. They almost do a really good job with Nibs, though, because Nibs gets traumatized by the eye almost going into her eye on the ship. And then she's immediately messed up and is like, she thinks she's pregnant. She's questioning things. She becomes violent. She's stuck in these delusions, and she's strong, and they can't stop her, and they have to erase her memories and that fucks her up even more. So Nibs actually goes, who is this like third tier character of the show. She barely even has lines until like episode 5 or 6. Or not 5 because that's the flashback one, but like 6 or so. But she's all sincerely got the most interesting arc of like, oh, I see exactly how you got here. And it was earned and it was slow and it was built up and it made perfect sense and they fucked with you until you were broken.
Yep.
And they didn't just like let you be. And her story is actually really cool and none of the other kids are really like that.
They're not
They're
interesting.
kind of just like all decide to become killers in episode 8.
Yeah, like the Babu talking to you in your head while kidnapping your family that's something. I want to be the favorite. I've named myself and I'm the scientist. There's stuff there, but it's not
lines. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not particularly interesting.
They definitely said some stuff.
They definitely
But Nibs,
did.
they nailed that.
Nibs,
and if everyone had a storyline like that, it would have actually been really coalesced into something cool.
Yeah, even though I will say that Sydney, who plays Wendy, is doing a phenomenal job as the lead. Like, I think she is doing a very good job of this storyline I'm disinterested in, where I'm like, I think that you're great. And then as well, Jonathan, I forget his last name, who plays Smee. He is incredible. And again, it's the classic, like, she is doing a great job being the lead and anchor of the show, and he gets to be more playful, funny, more of a character piece. But he's doing a great job of embodying Kid.
She's doing a really good acting job in the way that I can tell you're an actor who does like your vocal warm-ups and your stretches and like you're an actor, I bet. The woman playing Wendy / Marcy.
Yeah, Cindy Chandler, yeah.
Cindy Chandler. I don't feel a lot of child in her, to be totally honest. Because we spend maybe a third of the first episode with like the girl that she was, like the actual young actress, and I don't feel like those two are connected in any way once she becomes an adult. I was like, I don't feel any of that original performance, and since she's in less of the show, it probably should have been on the kid to be more like Sydney, but they just don't feel like the same character at all. And even though she has this like natural kind of innocence to her that is very captivating, and she has great leadership qualities, I don't ever see in her performance like an actual child. Whereas I hate to say this, I think not all the boys, at least 2 of the boys, Smee and the one who Mara was talking to, really had like, those are boys.
They flopped.
They flopped around. They messed with each other. They played.
Yeah.
Like, they keep talking about how the kids are playing. And I'm like, those 2 are playing. And I think Isaac, before he becomes Kirsch's, like, sidekick in the lab, is also very fun. He's also very, like, let's make dumb jokes and hypothesize about, like, if horses could fly and, like, really capture childhood. And it's incredible that all these actors are, like, 30.
Yeah.
Because they've all managed to, like, change their bodies in a way that they're just slumped and, like, they're somehow just way more youthful. And they do feel like they're 8 to 12 years old. Yes. So I think she's a very good actress, but I don't think she didn't feel like a kid to me.
Well, I think one of the challenges that she has, and the whole ensemble has, and why I think that everyone is doing a good job, and they're just not necessarily popping as much as Smee is, being the most like playful kid, and I think the most embodied of it, is that all of them, I think, have made very specific acting decisions where they're like, yes, I am a child, but not a fun child. I am a child who was told that I'm going to die. I am a child who, at the age of, whatever their individual backstory might be, or whatever the actor painted in, or the script might have had, and then they filled in the difference. I'm 10 years old. I'm in a very poor family, and I've been told to accept the fact that I'm going to die. And I'm a 10-year-old dying in a wheelchair in a poor family, and then my family left me behind on an island with some strangers. And that is emotionally where I'm at. I'm not a fun, playful kid. You know what I mean? I'm not Smee is playing it I'm the kid who just swings my arms, and that's a fun 15 minutes of my day.
Oh, that is a kid.
And one of them's playing it as a, I was in a wheelchair and actually was kind of too sad and also sick to move for 50% of my life, so I actually don't move a lot. And I think that is still a good performance and a good opportunity. And then even the fact that it's like the difference between an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old can be a world of difference. So they're all making these little decisions that I think are good and well executed, and none of them get to be as clear cut as what Smee is, even though I think that that's the best decision and the best version of it.
He's a traditional child.
Yes.
He's kind of what you think of about like floppy, playful. But you're right. These are kids that all came in with. I think Nibs is the only one they talk about it, but they're like kids that all came in with trauma.
Heavy trauma.
Medical trauma is a type of trauma for sure.
Yeah.
So it probably does zap your fun levels when you're like, if we're not good, they might take our robot bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we don't have human bodies anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Critical health trauma, financial trauma, abandonment trauma, existential trauma. It does change how a 12-year-old might behave.
And then you add a little xenomorph trauma.
Yeah, and that creates
too much drama.
That creates there's a lot going on there. That does bring me to another performance that I do want to talk about, which is Timothy Olyphant in this show.
This is so interesting.
I agree. It's interesting is exactly how I would describe it. I don't know if I love it or hate it.
I ended up loving it. I love Timothy Olyphant. I think we both love Timothy Olyphant overall.
Oh, regular listeners of this podcast will know that we're doing backflips over Timothy Olyphant at any given moment.
We're Olyphant stans. So when I heard he was in this show, I'm like, oh, that's going to be so fun. He's going to be like the Bill Paxton of Alien Earth, or like the zany part of it. And when we saw episode 1 back in Comic-Con, and he's the stoic synth with this crazy blonde hair, I was like, what? He doesn't get to do anything like this. And he does find it, like he does, and like you get who this character is by the end. You're like, oh, that is an interesting performance. But I do feel like I was cheated out of fun Oliphant in like the classic like casual charming way that he always is. I was like, I really wanted 8 episodes of like Santa Clarita Diet Oliphant.
Yeah.
Just this wildly fun and like charming guy. But he's great. But I'm also like, are you this? This isn't, I've never seen you do a role like this, and I don't know if that's a compliment.
Yeah, it's very much, he's cast against type in this. This is not who he is. This is not who he typically plays. He normally drips charisma on screen and off, and has like a quiet, casual confidence, which there's some overlap in that of like the charismatic type of person that he plays is normally a very quiet, confident, Western style charismatic. But there's a little bit overlap there. But yeah, it's still very against type for him. It's cool to see him do something that's a little bit against type. Like, it's always nice when an actor gets to stretch their wings for that. And it's that double-edged sword of like, oh, it's cool that you get to show your range and stretch your wings a little bit. It also feels like I got cheated out of a waste of Timothy Olyphant at the same time, because it didn't let you play the game that you're so good at playing. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword with his character. But I agree that I did grow to love it. That I'm like, there's something going on with you, and we don't quite get the answers of that by the end of the series as to what his deal is. But it's intimidating. It's more happening under the surface than he portrays externally, which is something that he often kind of carries into his roles as well. And it is quite interesting. Yeah,
he does a really good job of like, Kid Cavalier thinks he's smarter than Timothy Olyphant, and Timothy Olyphant does a really good job of being like, I actually know more, but I'm not really obvious about it. We only kind of know that from the way the show portrays him, is always watching screens and being behind the scenes. But he also does always have that, just like, once you know that he knows more, you're like, oh, I can tell that he knows more now. He's very good at this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But it is against type. And I think I would have enjoyed it more if he was just like a guest star, and I would be like, oh, Timothy Olyphant was here for 1 episode as a synth. That's great. But if I'm like, 8 episodes of fun Timothy Olyphant, here he comes, like, oh, he's a synth, and he's a straight man. Oh, a straight man.
He's just kind of watching a monitor for a lot of this.
I mean, his hair's very blonde. That's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, when I compare, because I just feel like when we saw his interview at Comic-Con, and he was clearly so high.
We were
on stage.
We were lucky enough to be at the Alien Earth panel at San Diego Comic-Con. All of them come out. and all of them are more muted people than their characters.
Absolutely 100%.
And Timothy Olyphant comes out in like a pink pinstriped suit as if he's about to sell Springfield a monorail. He looks like the Music Man, and he's high as a kite.
He's high as a kite. He can't remember the questions he's been asked. Not in like a disrespectful way. He was just like 3 people down, and they were all answering the same question. So it was like we all answered one at a time, and he was like, I don't remember what the question was, but this was a fun show.
Yeah, just him being like, Sydney's incredible. Wow. Did we all see that? What did you want to know? And everyone's laughing at him, and he's the biggest and most bombastic actor in that panel.
And I just can't imagine shoving all that into a box on a set with like 8 other people and being like, you're the one who doesn't get to play. These people are all children, and you have to be a robot. Timothy Olyphant, the most fun man in the world.
I hope he had fun getting to play, because he's like, that's a challenge. That's fun. Maybe that's play to him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that's work for him, and everything else is play.
That's what it is.
Everything else for Timothy Olyphant is play. What late night show was he on where he kept calling from backstage? Was it Kimmel or Conan O'Brien?
I think it might have been. He's done a couple of very memorable Conan appearances. If you want to have a good time, look up just Timothy Olyphant on Conan. That man's a fucking card.
A card.
He's a card. So it's quite fun. Another character that I do want to talk about that I really liked disliking, which was the boy Cavalier, the boy genius. It's so annoying. I just want to smack him. I hate him so much. It's exactly what they're going for. It's a perfect performance. I'm like, God, I dislike you. You've nailed how much I dislike you.
He did make himself unlikable. I didn't really dislike him that much. I didn't like him. I wasn't like, where's Kid Cavalier? But he's doing a great performance. But I didn't hate him. I think they could have made him 10% more evil for me. But he's still clearly very evil and just so self-centered and he won't put shoes on. He types with his feet. He's making really good choices.
Yeah.
He's making wildly good acting choices to be believable as this wildly smart guy, this trillionaire, but also very dumb at times, but also ahead of the game.
Yeah.
With just weird motivations and weird ideas.
And when they have him be dumb, he is playing it like he's smart, which actually makes it hard to notice, but it's such a good performance as well. So there's one moment when he's talking to the psychologist, that character, and he's like, oh, I want someone who's intelligent enough to talk to. And she's like, well, Kirsch, the Timothy Olyphant synth character, she's like, he is more intelligent than you. He's a synth and has access to all of human information instantaneously at a speed faster than brain cells. And he's like, yes, not intelligent like that, intelligent in a different way. And it happens so fast and brushes it off, but just this type of idiot that he is when he's just like, no one's smarter than me. And someone's like, well, actually, this person's measurably smarter than you. Well, yeah, if you're going to measure it like that, sure, but that's the wrong way to look at it. Look at it in the way where I'm the smartest and specialist boy. He's playing it so real that he actually thinks that he is being smart while saying some of the stupidest things in the world, to be like, well, I'm winning all of the time. Not if you look at the points, but if you consider that I'm not playing the game the way that scoring points works, I'm winning. And everyone goes along with that to the point where even as an audience member, I found myself in moments being like, yes, this is a successful wait a minute, none of it, you're a fucking idiot. I went along with it for a second, which I really liked. And I also really enjoyed that in the past decade or so of media, we've talked about the Trumpism of the world, of the I don't need to see another comparative parable to Trump in media. I feel like I've seen a few different versions of Musk over the years, of a Musk adjacent type. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I think I've seen a Zuckerberg, which I actually find quite interesting. And it made me think about the fact that I'm like, I think The Social Network, not being sincere, but obviously playing up what a dumb asshole he was, kind of solidified that portrayal of Zuckerberg in the zeitgeist to the point where no one has gone for a sardonic version of him in media. And it felt very kind of refreshing to be like, oh, this is actually a version of making fun of the trillionaire, billionaire that I haven't seen other people do.
I can agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely, he's definitely a Zuckerberg, but I think we are kind of stuck in, more of a kind of Musk thought of these billionaires. It's more, or we're doing like startup billionaires instead of like established trillionaires who have been doing things for a while in media. So this is the first time we've seen more of a like today era Zuckerberg and not a social network. I just started it.
Yes. Yeah.
More of an established trillionaire genius, because I think usually they're more like Musk and they're not very smart. They just have yes men around them. But clearly he actually is wildly intelligent. He's created all this technology. He's not just a rich guy who's hiring other people to make things for him.
He did build his first robot alone. He has that level of...
He does have that level.
I'm an Anakin Skywalker. I built a robot alone with no one around, but also I'm going to kill the younglings.
But then he has no social intelligence at all, but he doesn't want to admit that. And he also does very dumb things. He's like, I'm going to let the sheep with the eye just be in my room in a cage. I'm going to not evacuate even though we have all these alien creatures here and we can't even go into the rooms with them. And obviously our security's not enough and we're not built for this. I will slightly disagree, and maybe I'm dumb. I will say the discussion with the psychiatrist about Kirsch being smarter, I really liked, because I actually agreed with him, because all the intelligence of the world doesn't create new ideas. And he wants to have a conversation with someone who will surprise him. Mm-hmm. And AI and robots can't do that. That is why he wanted children. I actually think that was an interesting aspect of his character, because it does actually make the finale work more than I expected when Wendy like psychoanalyzes him and is like, you're just like your dad, and it kind of breaks him, but it's a surprise for him. He does get what he wanted, which is a conversation that surprised him that he didn't see coming. So it does go full circle for me. So I think that conversation is actually great.
I agree that the conversation is great, but I think his performance is playing it as a smart guy. I read it as him being dumb.
I read that scene as him actually being the genuine reason why he'd made the kids, but other scenes I definitely think he's dumb.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think to a degree, and again, this goes back to like why use them in a military operation. I understand that like if your like childlike minds are more creative, and I'm like, well, then send them to a piano and not a crash site. So that was
and they're not even that like they haven't even uploaded information yet. Which is a weird thing about, they're like, last night I learned French. I uploaded it. I'm like, why haven't you uploaded every language? Why is it taking so long for you to get like the entire internet in your heads?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
They got to manually plug it in. They're still on tube TVs. You know what I mean? The CRTs, the cathode ray tubes can't transport. I don't know.
There's a human consciousness in your head.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what you're saying about the ending being him being surprised by something for once. I do agree with that to a certain. I do agree with that to a certain degree. I think as well, like him being like, I just want to be surprised, but also he is someone so incapable of being surprised because he doesn't like it. Like, as we see, anytime anyone has a thought different than his, he's not like, ooh, a thought different than mine. He crushes surprises. So that's also why I kind of read him as just a fucking idiot in that scene, where it's just like, it's that like, no one's smarter than me. Well, this person's more book smart. Yes, but they're not creatively smart with ideas that I don't have. Well, here's a bunch of people who have ideas you don't have. I fucking hate them. Kill them and fire them. So he actually is not curious at all and doesn't like being surprised and is just a fucking loser.
Well, he thinks he knows what he wants.
Yes.
And then you're right. As he has shown anything that is new and interesting, although he is very interested in the alien and all the alien creatures.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's because he'll get to learn about them.
Yes.
And discover them, not because someone else gets to tell him, which is why he's so protective of them and won't give them to Will and Yutani.
Very interesting.
He wants to have the ideas first and the knowledge first before everyone else. But you're right that he is unethical debate is what he interested in more than anything. He doesn't. Yeah. He thinks he wants to be surprised, but he just wants to shoot down every idea.
Yeah. 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 So I don't know. A very interesting character and a very interesting portrayal in media to see a Zuckerberg type.
I agree.
Yep.
I completely agree on that one.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this show and what I've had to say about it. They love their transparencies and overlays. I'll say that. Just throw that out as a real quick one.
The transitions.
A lot of overlay transitions, but I was into it. I was yum eating up every single one. Where I'm like, you got me. I do like it. I like the vibes of it.
I liked most of them. A lot of the time, it was like 28 Days Later vibes of like weird transitions that make you feel things that are like cool. Every now and then, There's one famous transition in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, that's very bad. It's a movie that doesn't have hardly any transitions.
I think I've seen the clip of the
one where Frodo's almost dying, and then Hugo Weaving is like healing him, and it's too close to Hugo Weaving's face.
Yes.
And it doesn't fade out enough. It's a bad transition.
It's very elvish mystical type of a thing.
It could be more Elvis mystical.
Okay.
It's cheap looking.
Yes.
Is the problem. And like none of these really look like that, but whenever I see a transition, that's what I think of. Pretty much any time. So I'm like, transitions are dumb. Like that one scene in Lord of the Rings, my favorite movie. It doesn't make any sense. None of this connects.
You really go for a ride.
But I actually think most of these are really great. I'm sorry, I do have one more big negative and I have to get it off my chest.
Lay it on us.
I hate everything about why Wendy's so special. It doesn't make any fucking sense in the world to me.
Oh, why she's Neo the One and can...
She's like double the one. She can do everything with technology and she can talk to the alien.
Right.
She was the first one made, but they're all the same. She didn't have anything special happen to her. It's not like she was already like a kid genius. If she was a kid genius or something and they put a kid genius in a robot body, that'd be cool, maybe. At one point, they're like, the alien chose her and that's why she can hear it. She hears the alien for the first time on the way to the crash site. She hasn't seen one. She hasn't interacted with one. None of the other kids can control technology and they're all in the same bodies. It's like she got this double superpower. It like really fucking bothers me.
I have
so unexplained.
I have some curiosities about that. I'm not going to say I love it, but I'm holding reservation on that because I think that there's a couple of things where I'm like, okay, she can hear and vocalize in a frequency that is not typical to human flesh ears. And I'm like, okay, so she can hear the alien in that regard and can speak something adjacent to the alien language in that regard. Then there's one that has the DNA of her brother, and I think also imprints on her by her being the first thing it sees out of the womb. So I'm like, there's a familial connection and an imprinting, and you can make the noises. So I think that that's something interesting. Where like the previous fully adult one, I don't think would follow her instructions but could converse with her, whereas I feel like the child one that imprinted on her is like I'm the DNA of your brother and I imprinted on you and you can talk to me. So I think there's a few different levels going on there, and it makes me wonder when it's talking about like why the other kids can't do it. So the conversation of she was the first and they were still figuring things out, it makes me think that she's closer to synth than person. And maybe the other ones actually are closer to being the kids that were transferred in the idea that, like, if she was the first and they didn't get everything right, being able to control technology and talking alien languages is something that a synth would have a far more comfortable time doing. And being able to conceptualize a xenomorph's language and control the Wi-Fi is something that a human consciousness would not be able to do. So it actually makes me think that she was the failed first one. And she even talks about like being named Wendy because Wendy's the one that grew up. So it's like, I actually think that she is not the child consciousness and it's just the child's memories, and the rest of them are the more successful version of the experiment that is the children.
Oh, see, I'm actually...
But like, this is all me making headcanon.
No, I respect it. I actually see it as being the complete reverse because she's the only one obsessed with her family. None of the others really seem to miss their family, and she's always like, where's my brother Joe? I miss my brother Joe, even before the wreck. She's always trying to track him, so she's kind of more human in that way than the rest of them. She can control Wi-Fi, but regular synths can't, so if she was extra human, it might like add an extra component to it. Humans can kill and synths can't, so there's part of a kind of a cool intersection there of what the hybrids are capable of and why she might be able to do more. It doesn't tell me why she can hear an alien, and I disagree about the DNA thing because she doesn't actually have any of her brother's DNA. She's in a robot body right now.
I do agree with that as well. Yeah.
If Joe
could do it, because it's like, I am you.
and I'm the only person who ever survived having a face hugger on me because it was only in my lung and I'm the incubation, but I survived, and that never happens. If he could talk to it, that would make perfect sense to me and would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just this one, not like every xenomorph. But if a xenomorph was like, that's my dad, don't you hurt him? Joe's my dad.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't like it.
Okay.
It doesn't fill me with anything. If she only had one power, maybe.
Yeah.
Giving her double powers is bullshit.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting setup for what, I don't know if they've been greenlit, what potentially the next season would be, which is, now we've got a robot super kid Homelander type scenario with a xenomorph pet, which
It's a badass, although there's also an army coming.
And there's an army coming. So there's a lot going on for a potential next season. A lot to mine that I find interesting. I did like there was a subtle implication with Morrow, the cyborg guy, when he shot the brother. And later, like, the brother's like, you shot me. And he's like, no, I saved your life. I'm like, does Morrow know that the face huggers implant in, was it the lung or the liver?
It went to his lung.
It was his lung. Does he know that they implant in the lung and shot him in the lung so a face hugger couldn't be implanted in him? Like, I don't know but he was just like, no, I didn't shoot you. I saved your life. I'm like, was that a purposeful shot? I wonder what that was about.
I feel like just shooting him anywhere. I think a face hugger isn't going to go for a dying body.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think just
Maybe.
any kind of body shot would have done it.
No, that's possible. It's possible.
But yeah, that's definitely my final thought. I had to get that out there.
Love it.
Bothered me so much.
Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we have discussed everything we have discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do ask that final question, we will remind you, as we do every week, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or YouTube, wherever it is that you get these podcasts. It means a lot to us. It helps us move up the charts, find new listeners. Those engagement numbers go up, which means that these magical places show us to new people.
Thank you, magical places.
Thank you, thank you to the people who control the magical places.
So never mind magical places.
Yeah, you're the wizards that control the magic, listeners.
Oh, wow, you're a wizard. That's cool.
That's cool, huh?
You guys are wizards.
I like that too.
You control our fates.
Yeah, you're a wizard. So write I'm a wizard in your review or your comment.
Thank you for everyone who saved the bees last week.
Thank you for saving the bees. A lot of you saved the bees last week.
Good
and
work.
We appreciate that. Good work.
They're officially saved.
They're officially saved
We did
now. So do that. Free way to support the show. If you want to support the show monetarily, you can do it over on Patreon, monthly, which is a monthly subscription service where you can sign up at whatever level is in your budget. There's lots of different options. You can also do monthly or you can do yearly, in which case you get a month for free. So some cool choices you can get at the $1 a month level. You can get our webcomic early and and at the $3 level, you can get these episodes early and ad free. At the $10 level, you will get an exclusive bonus episode of this podcast every single month, plus immediate access to all of our previous bonus episodes. This month, we did Star Trek Generations, a very fun and warm episode that's available right now. And as well, if you want any single Patreon episode, you can buy it for $5.
Lots of good options over at patreon.com.
/FromSuperheroes.
/FromSuperheroes. You got to add the end point.
So check out patreon.com /FromSuperheroes. That is patreon.com /FromSuperheroes. And now, let's ask the final question. Now that we have discussed everything we've discussed, Diana, what would you change about this if you could change anything?
I've got two big changes. My first big change is I couldn't get over how dumb it was to send these kids to the crash site. It didn't make monetary sense. It didn't make saving lives sense. Nothing of it made any sense to me. My biggest change is that the ship crashes on the island. So the alien just lands on the island. Maybe not like right in the facility, but it seems like they're on a pretty big island. So Morrow's ship just crashes on the island, and that kind of coalesces everything in this show a little bit easier. Of course, we're going to send the kids in. We only other have Kirsch as the only other synth that's here. So we send the kids into the crash site. Then we're like inundated with the aliens quicker. We have to fight Morrow. The brother Joe works for Prodigy, so he can still come in as backup. Like, they're going to call in extra troops when a ship crashes into their island, so he still comes in as backup. So that's just going to make me like all the reasoning a lot more and just get me more focused on like, I just want to see all these aliens fuck you up now. And the aliens can escape a little bit more because now it's an island. So you don't have to capture them all as quickly and bring them to the island from the city to the island. So I'm crashing the ship on the island. So this always kind of coalesces a little bit more. And then I think Morrow is probably just secretly on the island the whole time. And he's kind of really like the xenomorph in a lot of ways. He's the one who's hunting them and trying to get his stuff back. And he's just secretly hiding all the time. And they can't find him for cyborg reasons. And he's cool. So I'm going to have all that happen. And then my other big change is what we just talked about. Wendy definitely cannot talk to xenomorphs. She will have noticed that xenomorphs don't kill synths. So at the end, it's not so much that when all the kids kind of turn evil and want to kill everyone else on the island, she releases the xenomorph, not because she can talk to it, but she knows it'll only go after all the humans, and her brother's safe because it is his dad. So she still releases it, but it's not like, I talked to the xenomorph and it's basically my pet and I've really made it shitty and not cool anymore. The xenomorph just goes on a killing spree and kills all the humans that aren't in cages. And it doesn't kill and it doesn't kill synths because they can't eat it and they can't put eggs in it, so they don't bother them. And they just kind of live in harmony in that way with the xenomorph. And I think that's more interesting to me than being able to talk to it. And the brother's just safe because he's like, I guess I'm your dad. And I think the guy who plays Joe would have a lot of fun with that. So those are my big changes for Alien Earth. Andrew, what would you change?
I like that. I think that is cleaner. Landing on the island is a good bit cleaner, and it brings Joe to her rather than her to Joe. And I think that could be just like her being excited to be like, Joe's coming here. He wasn't allowed to come here, and now he's allowed to come here. So I think that is exciting and interesting. I like it. My big change is that all of these hybrids, with the exception of Wendy, are adults. I think it's very important that Wendy's still a kid.
Oh, okay, and that's why she's different.
And that's why
cool with that.
And that's why she has powers the rest of them don't. And then it allows it allows the boy genius to be like, well, you're the mind of a child. You're so much more creative, and you haven't closed certain synapses the way adults' minds have. So you're still open to rewiring and rethinking, which is why you're handling the process of hybridization differently than these adults. And these adults are just adults. They follow orders. They work in the lab. They go in to clean out the thing. They're kind of bummed out terminal patients who were converted to bodies who are now owned by a corporation, and they know that because they're adults and don't like it. So I think the rest of them should be adults, and Wendy is special because she was the first and she was a kid, and she is able to creatively use and rewire these false synapses in her mechanized brain in a way that the adults who survived the transfer cannot. So I think that's why she's special. I think then it makes a lot more sense for the group. And I think then like the question for the group is did we kill 6 people and then just create 6 robots with some uploaded memories? Or these actual transference? And then the question with her is, what the fuck is she? Did we just make a Homelander type of a scenario?
I love this change. You got rid of the kids. You explained why she's special. I like both our changes a lot, and they don't often work in conjunction with each other. And I love that it can still be like the ship crashes on the island, but they're adults except for Wendy. I like that these like really go hand in hand. Nice.
It is nice when our plans work together.
I think our plans have really come together in this scenario.
I agree with that.
Well done.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done it.
I think we've done it.
Excellent. Well, we've done it. We've improved it. That is going to be it for this week, talking about Alien Earth. Next week on the podcast, we are going to be back, and we will be talking about Tron Legacy next week on the podcast. So we'll be back there talking about that. And a reminder, if you're in the Halifax area, we'll be there in November at HalCon. I'll be doing shows on November 7th at Good Robot. Link in the description. And in the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me online most places. I'm at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can find me at Words of Diana.
And you can find both of us and everything we create over at FromSuperheroes.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.